Presented by
the 910 Comedy
Podcast Network.
Welcome to Marital Tips, where we invite you into our marriage to debate the not-so-important topics, discuss each other, and more. I'm Tim.
I'm Karen.
And we're a couple of married geeks who often get very passionate when we disagree about the super-important topics, like our favorite TV shows, personality traits, and whether T-O-U-R is pronounced tour or tor.
One is right, and no, I'm just kidding.
The other is tor.
Of course, like, people from different areas of the country say things differently, but, you know, like, it's one syllable, so you tell me. But anyway,
it's still pronounced tour.
How are you tonight, Tim?
I'm doing all right. We just put in a baby gate.
Yeah,
we don't have any kids, but
it has a cat door.
It does. And that's the most important thing when you have a dog who likes to eat the cat's, poop.
Out of the litter box. Yeah. So we just put up literally, like, right before this episode, we put up a little baby gate dividing the hallway where, like, the bedrooms that aren't the master bedroom, including our podcast studio. So if you hear some rattling, we really apologize. That's our dog Oz trying desperately to figure out what the heck is going on with this new barrier.
Now that he's lost access to, like, a quarter of the house.
Yeah, but our cat Knox is loving it so far. I've seen him go through the little cat door a couple of times. So yeah, again, if you hear rattling, which I definitely can, but I don't know if it's picking up, then we apologize.
I'm feeling pretty good this week. I finally got a haircut.
Yes, you look so good.
It was a while before quarantine started that I last got a haircut, and it was just starting to drive me nuts.
You were saying you needed a haircut, like, even before they were like, it's a bad idea to go to the hair salons, and then, like, they were closed anyway, even if you wanted to, so.
Right. And following up on last week, you went shopping.
I did! I got plans!
More plans.
Who's surprised? I have the bohemian witch kitchen of my dreams now. It's amazing. I love it so much. You helped me with that. The other night, we put up some plant babies in our little macrame holders all on our windows and stuff. I love them.
They still don't have any names yet.
I need to know them. You can't just, like, name them. I need to get to know them. So, like, last week also, I wanted to just bring up the fact that we talked a little bit about, like, things that you need to know before you move in with each other. And one of the more heated debates that we had was about subtitles, actually. So we put up a poll for you guys. And as it turns out, 55% of you say you would not change if you watch subtitles or not for your significant other. 45% say they were pretty flexible. They wouldn't really care. They'd put it on or put it off, whatever the other one preferred.
Yeah, but this is the first argument that has sided with you.
It's not that it's sided with me. It's just that, like, you didn't like subtitles and I did and you didn't care. So it wasn't even
I mean, I do care. I hated subtitles.
But now it's fine.
I was willing to compromise on that.
Yeah, that's what compromise is. You, like, it doesn't matter enough for you to, like, die on the hill. So you're like, okay, sure, we'll do it your way. Or we'll meet in the middle. And we do meet in the middle. Like we said last week, there are some programs and situations that we don't have subtitles on for, even though that's a compromise for me. So I think that's the key, I think, is the summary of last week's episode, to just, like, be willing to bend where it doesn't matter that much.
We've also been watching quite a bit of TV.
We have. We watched this new show called Upload.
And we're loving it.
We love it. We're not quite done with it yet. We have about, I think, 3 or 4 episodes to go. It's one of Greg Daniels, creator of The Office, his new stuff. We also watched Space Force, which was, like, not as good.
Yeah, of the 2 new Greg Daniels shows, Upload is definitely better.
Yeah.
It's almost like Good Place meets Scandal a little bit. Like, it's got sitcom, and it's definitely more of a sitcom, but there's also, like, drama, mystery in there too.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's an interesting concept, and I can, knowing the capitalist country that we have, I can, it's not too far of a stretch to imagine that, like, death would be essentially, like, charged.
Yeah, and not only charged, but monetized after the fact.
Yeah, exactly.
But what are we talking about tonight?
tonight we're playing a game that I basically made up called How Much is Too Much. Because that's, I think, another thing that you kind of learn the more time you spend with somebody is there are some differences of like opinion about how much you should spend on a particular topic or a particular item or a particular, I guess, service or whatever the case may be.
Okay.
So, for example, the reason, like, my kind of inspiration for this was I was cooking dinner tonight, and I was obviously chopping stuff up, and I was thinking, my chef's knife that I bought back in, oh my goodness, 2013?
Yeah, you've had it since before we met.
It's really, really held up very well, and then I was like, oh, that's probably because of how much money I spent on it. But I wanted to ask you, if left to your, basically for this entire game, budget is not a question. Like, it's like, how much we think is a reasonable amount. Like, everybody has their thing of like, oh, that's way too much money. And it's like too cheap also. So, left to your own devices, budget is not an option. How much would you spend on like a good chef's knife?
I mean, we've already covered that I'm useless in the kitchen.
Yeah. What is a chef's knife, first of all? Let's just ask that.
I'm going to assume it's one of the two large knives that sit in the one drawer.
Sure. I'll accept it.
I mean, you know which drawer I'm talking about.
Yeah. I cook, so yeah, I do. How much would you spend on like a good chopping knife, let's say?
Honestly, $30 or $40 is what I think.
I almost don't want to tell you how much that knife cost.
Oh, yeah?
It was like, I think $150.
What? For a knife?
It's, first of all, that knife is 7 years old, and there's not a dent or scratch or piece of rust anywhere on it. It's from a brand called, I'm sure I'm pronouncing this wrong, Wusthof.
Okay.
It's like a German knife brand, and they're very, very good quality. And like things like knives, you don't really want to like mess with the quality. Like you don't want to, if you're chopping stuff and like your hands are on the line, you don't want to have like a knife that's off balance or potentially isn't as sharp as it should be.
I mean, fair, but $150?
Okay. I'm sure that there are things that are way less practical that you would spend money on where I wouldn't. So what's one of yours?
Okay, so I mean, the first one is something that's been on my wish list for a little while, and that would be, a good dual level lightsaber.
Okay.
I'm talking one that like you could cosplay with, you can actually have fights with.
Uh-huh.
How much would you spend on one?
I mean, don't they have those in like the Target toy aisle for like $10?
Yeah, those spend very easily. I'm talking durable plastic.
$10. That's what I was
Yeah, you're a little off on that one.
How much are they?
If you're customizing, you're looking at minimum $150, $200.
Okay, so you're on me for spending $150 7 years ago, by the way, on something that we use every day and could potentially like live with us for the rest of our lives. Versus
lightsaber.
Versus something that, would you ever actually even duel with it, or would it literally just sit and
I'd
be
love
looked
to
at?
duel with it. I don't know who I would duel with.
That's what I'm saying. Like, who is going to duel with you with that? We don't know anybody who, like, if they even would care to do that, has a lightsaber of equivalent quality.
If he doesn't already, I bet you James would.
Okay, but how often are you just gonna, we're not like, unfortunately, we're not kids anymore where we can just be like, hey, you want to duel? Like, I wish that
Speak
existed.
for yourself.
I wish. James, if you're listening, would you come over just to duel with Tim and leave?
I mean, that and, people at Comic-Con and stuff like that, that
Fair.
happens.
Don't they, but at Comic-Con, don't they not let you have weapons?
To a certain extent. I mean, they let you have some stuff. It's more about sharpness of blades versus, they let you carry around a Mjolnir.
Okay, but would it be like, aren't they made of foam though, first of all? And second of all, like, would it be impossible that you could injure someone or yourself with a lightsaber of the caliber you're describing?
I mean, yeah, if they got close, but it still happens.
Yeah, when the time comes when it's actually like a laser that you can like cut things with, we'll talk about $200 on a lightsaber.
It's probably going to be a little bit more than that. But what's next on your list?
So next would be the concept of decorating as an adult kind of threw me a bit when I actually started to shop and look at prices and things like that, because this is an item that even I continue to be surprised by how much they cost. I don't want to give you too many hints about like the price or anything like that, but a throw pillow. How much do you think?
Okay, so this is a little bit unfair because I've actually gone shopping for these with you.
Well, how much would you spend? Not like how much are they? This isn't The Price is Right. How much would you spend? First of all, would you buy a throw pillow?
No.
If left to your own devices.
You moved in with me, or you stayed at my place. Did I have a single throw pillow?
You did not.
No.
You did not.
But
if you were, for whatever reason, purchasing a throw pillow,
$10 or $15, I really wouldn't spend too much money on them.
You can get a throw pillow for $10 or $15 on sale, on clearance. One of the throw pillows we have in the living room right now was that cost, and it was like on like super marked down clearance. But to be fair, it's like a velvet pillow. But I think I would not spend more than I think maybe like $40 for a throw pillow. But that's one of the, honestly, like, I can't see a reason why they are that much money. There's not much utility to them. Like, there's not much to them at all. Like, in general, like, there's not a ton of fabric. There's not a ton of stuffing. So I don't really get it. But I also love them. So I'll do it. What's yours?
What's my next one?
Yeah.
A pair of tickets to an Ohio State football game. Upper level, but at midfield. I
don't know what any of those words mean.
Okay.
Upper level in the stadium?
Yes.
Midfield, like you're at like the 50-yard line or so?
Roughly.
Okay. Isn't upper level a worse seat? Okay.
Yes. So how much would you spend for a pair of tickets?
So 2 tickets, the total or each?
For a pair.
For a pair? Like $150?
That's actually about how much they go for each.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Section 123, row 18, you're looking at $160 each.
What on earth?
And that's for Michigan State at Ohio State.
What the heck? So they're different based on the teams that are playing?
I mean, I imagine that a team like Michigan is going to bring more.
Because that's the
They're
rival.
Higher quality. They're a rival. I wasn't able to get that real quick. I think they might be playing in Michigan this year. So
how does that work? Do you know how that works with like the teams? Like, do the teams split the ticket sales, or do they just? I think it's the
home game, or the home team.
Well, why wouldn't they always want to have it at their own home?
Because then you never get a full schedule.
You have to play.
You have to play so many games.
Do they flip?
Usually, like if you're playing conference opponents, it alternates. Like Michigan and Ohio State, it flips. 1 year's in Michigan, one's in Ohio. One's in Michigan, one's in Ohio.
Okay. Yeah. Well, God, how much are the good tickets?
If you're looking at like midfield in the bottom section, you're looking at $433 a piece.
What the heck? And that I assume doesn't include parking.
Nope.
And definitely doesn't include any like beverages or snacks or whatever.
Nope. That's just the ticket.
Those stadium seats are so tiny.
Mm-hmm.
They're so tiny. Like
$433 each.
For like a square foot, essentially, of space for like the 3.5-4 hours that you're there.
Yep.
Nah. I'm cool at home, personally. Would you go? Would you spend that money?
I would consider the $160 tickets.
But again, we've like won the lottery in this game. Like,
well, I mean, yeah, if money's not a thing, absolutely, that experience would be amazing.
See, even if money weren't a thing, we were like billionaires. I can't see myself ever wanting to go to anything like that. Like, I would care to go if it were maybe like a private box, like if we're talking about money not being an option. But for those tiny little seats being so crowded and loud, nope. I'll see you in a few hours.
Yeah.
So one thing that we've been talking about over the last couple of episodes, and I would really love to get your opinion on because I'm definitely spending money on these, are plants. And there's a good variety of like price ranges with plants, but like how much would you spend on like a house plant? Just like a sits on your windowsill house plant.
I don't know. Plants to me shouldn't be all that expensive.
Ooh. Define not all that expensive.
Under $20.
Okay, that's definitely doable.
Like, I wouldn't spend more than $20 on any plant, I don't think.
I think most of the plants in our house were under $20.
I would hope so.
Considering how many there are.
Yeah.
But I did see, like, oh my god, I saw the most gorgeous snake plant the other day. That was, like, probably, like, 3.5 feet tall. And I wanted it so much. It was so pretty.
And how much was it?
It was for the height that it was like 40, I think.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't get it because I was like, okay, well, Tim would be not understanding that price is worth it. But you can get a snake plant, like a little baby one, and just grow it for $10 maybe. I'm just not a patient person. So I don't...
I'm aware.
I love plants, but like I'm not the type of person that I would want to grow things from seed. Just because nope. I can't do it. So if I already see like a big, beautiful, luscious boy, like already so tall, I think I would be willing to spend, like independently of you and with no concern to budget, I would definitely spend it.
Okay.
You wouldn't though, I assume.
No. I don't think plants deserve more than $20.
Wow, those are our children.
And what do you call Knox and Oz?
Yeah. They're the brothers and sisters. Knox and Oz are our real children.
They all look so much alike.
Yeah, because Knox and Oz look alike. Yeah. What's your next one, Mr. Judgy?
A new 65-inch TV.
Does brand matter at all? Because
but how much would you be willing to spend on a 65-inch TV?
I really don't know that much about pricing of technology in general. But how much would I be willing to? Like $200 maybe?
Yeah, you're not getting a 65-inch TV for $200.
Like if I saw that in a store and it said $200, I'd be like, okay. Anything higher, I think I would probably ask someone. I'd be like a friend of mine, imagining you're not in the picture at all.
If you see a 65-inch like 4K TV for $200, buy that on the spot.
How much are they?
How
much was ours?
The
ours
one we have
downstairs,
I think, is a 60-inch. And it was on sale, and it was around $3.
Okay.
So that's a smaller TV. It's kind of on the lower end in terms of quality, just because it's, affordable.
I don't have a problem with it.
No, it's not bad at all. I'm just saying, like, in terms of the spectrum of those size, it's at the lower end.
Yeah, I'm
and
surprised
it was like $300 on sale.
Yeah, fun story. That TV was like not an expected purchase because when we moved to our house, we moved in the rain. Like it was pouring rain at night, and we loaded up our TV
in December.
And we brought in the TV, and it had like this really beautifully artful crack, like right diagonally through the whole thing.
Yep.
So we kind of had to get a new TV. Well, we didn't have to, but
I mean, it was in our living room.
Yeah.
It was our living room TV.
So we got a new one. But normally I feel like if it weren't for the unusual circumstance, I think you're kind of a brand snob. Personally, like you tend to go for things that have a name brand that you associate with, like as being good quality, like Samsung, for example. I feel like...
yeah, I'm definitely preferential to Samsung or Sony TVs.
So if it's a Samsung or Sony TV, how much is it?
You're probably looking at closer to $600 or $700.
Heck no, you can put your brand snobbiness away. That is nasty expensive.
Yeah.
I would never spend that much on a TV.
No. You'd spend $200.
Well, I can see myself, like, I've always kind of wanted, like, a big family room situation with like a really good, maybe like a good quality projector or like a good quality like movie, like an indoor theater kind of thing, like a in-home theater. So that kind of thing, I think I would be willing to spend a good amount of money, but I guess like I considered a good amount of money to be like 500.
Yeah.
So maybe
the Samsung 65-inch class is $999.99.
No. Well, how about my next one, which
Okay.
is a vacation. How much would you spend? A good vacation. First of all, define a good vacation in terms of number of days and nights, and where, like, would it be domestic or international?
So,
or both?
For a domestic vacation, I don't really want to define what a good vacation is because it's so subjective and it changes even, depending on the day for me.
Right.
But
let me just throw a situation out at you right now that I know you would want to pocket like a ton of money for beforehand.
Okay.
Comic-Con.
Okay.
How much money would you spend?
Realistically, for any domestic vacation, I would want to budget not counting hotels or travel fees. I'm talking food and spending money. Probably about $200 a day.
A day?
A day. So if it's
in San Diego?
Sure. I'm talking food and everything.
Okay. I think it'd be more than that.
Maybe $250.
I think if we go to Comic-Con ever, it'll be like a once in a lifetime.
Oh yeah, we're taking like $1,500.
Yeah, I feel like there's no way we're getting away with $200 a day. Personally,
probably not.
I've never even been to California at all, so I feel like I definitely would want to experience some of the like lifestyles of California in addition to, like I would consider it to be like an extremely luxury vacation in terms of money. So I'm just curious if our idea about that would match, because I feel like I'd want to go to Comic-Con with like a couple thousand.
That's fair.
Like if money's no object, why not?
Yeah. I mean, obviously if money's no object, then the number's going to be whatever I feel like.
Yeah, but at a certain point.
But when you're talking vacations, you kind of want a budget, and you got to see what's realistic. I think $200 to $250 a day, you'd have a good vacation.
Cool.
Maybe not Comic-Con, but the rest of it. If we're going to,
we'd need to spend an additional couple hundred just for like the luggage it would take to get back all of the things we'd buy at Comic-Con.
True facts.
What's your next one?
That's actually the end of my list. I only had 4 items I could think of.
I have a lot more, so.
Oh, okay. I mean, I could say something like a new video game.
A new video game. I mean, I know how much they cost because you've, been like, hey, do you think we can spend this much money on this game? But I personally would spend like $30, I think, on like a new game.
Yeah, new games are $60.
Yeah, I would spend half that ideally. If I mean, you can't.
You'd wait for it to go on sale.
I would wait for it to go on sale, and I would not buy games as frequently. I mean, I know that you don't even buy them that frequently anymore. But
no, I wish I had the time to do that, but I'm kind of busy.
I would really. My thing is, I don't collect anything except now for plants. Like that's the only thing I collect, basically.
Well, you don't like clutter.
I don't like clutter, but plants are not clutter. But games aren't clutter because you can buy them digitally. But
That's
even
fair.
then, I don't really collect things. So I think I would just find like a game that I really like playing, and I would just play that until the end of time.
Yeah, not all games work that way.
No, I assume
not all games have like infinite replay.
Okay.
I still think you need to get Animal Crossing.
I don't want to play Animal Crossing, but I am so pumped for the new Neopets.
Yeah, it was announced that Neopets is coming very soon to mobile.
I just, don't want to interact with people like that, like on Animal Crossing.
I don't know that you have to.
Don't you have to, sell your turnips or something?
I don't know. I imagine that there's plenty of, single player to it. I
don't know. Neopets is about my speed, personally.
Okay.
Like, I can't really commit to much more than that. But I have one last one for you.
All right.
How much would you spend on a nice restaurant for, say, you and I went out to dinner? Define a nice restaurant, and then how much would you spend?
Well, I mean, a nice restaurant's going to be one that, we're not wearing t-shirt and cargo shorts, too.
Oh, so no restaurant we've ever been to, then?
We've been to some restaurants where we've dressed up.
I don't know that I've ever seen you...
Anniversaries.
Go to... You've never, ever gone to an anniversary dinner out...
Oh, I'm not wearing a tie, but I'm wearing a nice shirt.
What's a nice shirt, Tim? One of your nicer t-shirts and jeans instead of cargo shorts?
But, one that you dress up a little more for. I'd be willing to go to like $200 for a really nice dinner.
200 is like the bill?
Yeah.
Or 200 per person?
Not 200 per person.
There.
It's a single meal.
Yeah.
You gotta be realistic. 200 is a lot of money anyway.
Have you ever heard of a restaurant called the French Laundry?
No.
Okay. So it's a restaurant that I probably would only in a world where I have unlimited amount of money, that I'd only even then really would want to go to once.
So it's something we'll never go to.
Oh, no, we never will. But it's very famous. It's like one of those, you have like 10 courses and they're all like tiny, but they're all really good quality. And it's just like, I don't know. I'm not that person normally, but
I'm not that person at all. I would be miserable.
It's so classic and it's such a famous like place. I would be interested in going once. If I had unlimited amount of money or someone paid for me to go.
Okay.
But like even then, there are still some really nice restaurants that I can think of.
You've danced around how much this place costs.
Oh, the French Laundry?
Yeah.
I don't know exactly, and I don't think I have time to look it up, but I think, correct me if I'm wrong, people who are listening, but I believe it's about $1,000 per person.
Oh, heck no.
There are charities and stuff that like, it's like $1,000 per plate. Would you ever go to one of those?
I mean, that's different.
Why?
Because it's for a cause. For
charity. Yeah, that's true. But even then, they still would, like, it's still a meal.
That would be a different situation, and also I'm not influential enough to be invited to any of those.
But I do agree with you, actually, that for what's our speed and like what we could probably get away with on really special occasions, 200 is probably a decent amount of money.
About top of what I'd be willing to spend for like a single meal.
Yeah, and just for the record, I don't know that really anywhere where we live has a restaurant that like for that amount of money you're not getting a lot of food, because that would be like we'd get an appetizer and we'd have a couple beers each and like we'd have dessert and like obviously our entrees and stuff like that. So even then it's a lot of food and probably we'd take some home. Really quick, I know that we're running out of time, but what do you think about people who say that women should not get a takeout container on like a first date?
I don't care. Do what you want.
Yeah, they're like, oh, it makes you look unladylike. I'm like, excuse me, a girl's got to eat. And like whoever paid for this food, it's not going to waste. So I don't know if you've ever heard of anybody being like, oh, you shouldn't get, like, it's too nice of a restaurant. You shouldn't get it to go. Heck no, they're going to throw it away and our world is dying. So take home your food.
But that'll do it for this episode of Marital Tiffs.
Go online and let us know on our socials what you think about these topics today. Is there anything that you are particularly willing to spend a lot of money on versus other people?
You can weigh in on all our social media at Marital Tiffs, MARITALTIFFS, all one word, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also email us at maritaltiffs@gmail.com. Be sure to subscribe everywhere you find your podcast, and if you're an Apple Podcast listener, leave us a 5-star review. We don't have any reviews yet. Do you not love us?
Tell us you love us.
Just a reminder, we are part of the 910 Comedy Podcast Network, so be sure to follow us at 910 Comedy on Facebook and listen to our sister podcasts, Hometown Crowd, That's Just My Face, and Dead Girls Talking. Thanks for listening to Marital Tips.